Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of LostinTranslationmon. This time we're covering Digimon Adventure 2020: Episode 10, The Super Evolution of Steel. And of course, as always, I'm joined by Quinn.
Howdy.
And Stevie.
Hello.
And with that, on to the show. The start of the episode once again has our new Digimon analyzer beginning the encyclopedia, and this time it's for Greymon, and we get a hint of Metal Greymon in the analyzer, so that's kind of like, oh, okay, that's what the episode title was talking about. Oh, it wasn't super obvious, so now it is. Okay. And it appears that, judging by the Who's That Digimon that we get, we will be having a Digimon analyzer about Gabumon next time. So maybe we get maybe the next episode is a Ogremon episode, and that's the immediate thought, because okay, we're talking about which Digimon is whoever's the main character of the next episode, I guess.
Well,
which
not,
I guess
not
makes
to spoil
sense.
it, but the next episode is definitely about Ogremon.
Yeah, well, we've got the episode title. We've got
Exactly.
the episode title the next, 6 episodes or something, so...
That's a weird decision.
Plus,
we won't be talking about those episode titles. We'll only be saying them as they come along in the outro, so we'll only be giving the episode title for 11 this time, obviously, and then
I'm with you.
next episode we'll be giving the episode for 12 at the end, obviously. So we won't be giving any of those titles because they are fairly spoilery.
Yeah.
I mean,
I read them,
the
though.
previews are just as bad anyway.
They really are. I have not set out the later titles, but seeing that preview is just, oh, okay, so we're just not even pretending.
We know exactly
But
what's coming.
Yeah.
And we knew exactly what
I
was
don't-
coming this week as well,
Yeah.
from the title
I mean,
alone.
Did previous seasons have next time ons that were this sort of
Blatant.
Yeah, blatant is a good word.
Not,
Yeah, but did it?
not as much as
remember.
I recall.
I think Atmon did.
Atmon did. I suspect children kind of like that.
Yeah.
They get hype.
I mean, I think I would have been fine as a kid just finishing on the next time on Digimon Digital Monsters. Well, it's more like a find out next time on Digimon Digital Monsters. Not this is what you'll see next
Yeah,
time on
yeah.
Digimon Digital Monsters.
Now, you need to have an old goggle kid show up, voicing the narrator, I guess, and ask what will happen next time. Or Ruki, who really was the goggle kid.
Yeah, I mean that's clearly proved to us that Ruki was the real main character all along.
Ruki was the MVP, but that's for our other podcast. Yeah. I definitely did not need just, by the way, guess what's happening next time, in case there was any suspense.
But at least the ones at the end of the episode, you can stop the episode at the
those
ending
are a
credits.
little more optional.
Yeah.
So are we doing the synopsis backwards this week?
Apparently.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we were just talking about the start of the episode.
Yeah.
But,
we skip to the end.
Yeah, so before the end, in between the start and the end, is the middle. And we'll now be discussing the middle. So it turns out that Koshiro actually filmed the entire battle and the after events of the battle. And he was even asked why he was recording. And I'm like, that's a fair question, so I'm glad they addressed it.
No, it's really not with this generation.
Yeah, I always like when somebody asks something that's going on that's a little bit
No, I don't.
out of character.
It was extremely convenient, but I feel like the dub will definitely say, "What are you talking about? I'm 12." Of course, I recorded the monster fight.
Well, not even I'm 12. It's like I'm a human. I have I have a recording device, so I must record.
Yeah.
So we've got Ogremon, who is unconscious, and he's been looked after by Gomamon. It seems like this nurse Gomamon today, which is
I'm very here
what
for
I'm all
it.
here for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Koshiro is analysing Metal Tyrannomon's data, and Yamato is saying to Taichi that retreating was the only chance, as they would have died, and Taichi's remembering Ogremon and how Ogremon said, hey, go this way. It seems like Taichi and Yamato are about to fight, which would be very in character for their previous iterations in the original adventure, and Mimi says she doesn't like the atmosphere, and Joe wonders if he should stop them before they start fighting, and Yamato is talking about how he thinks that Ogremon might be lying, and if Taichi trusts somebody like that he won't survive. Which I feel like is fairly reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, I trust Ogremon because I don't know, I trust him, but the perspective of he's a bad guy, why should we trust him?
Right.
But why do we even...
We know we
Yeah.
can trust him because he's in an anime playing a trope, but, you know, maybe don't rely on that to make actual decisions.
So I think Yamato is being very reasonable in this episode. I like how the fact he doesn't start punching Tai like his previous
gotta earn
self
that.
would have. Yeah.
It's a mild disagreement. It's not
Yeah.
a punching level fight just yet.
Yeah, I don't know why they're everyone's so uncomfortable about the tension. I feel like it's a fine thing to talk about because they need to know what to do next. So I think the
They're
character's
both
saying,
being
"Oh,
a
I
little
don't like this."
intense.
Yeah, but it's not like, "Oh, should we stop it?" It's sort of like, okay, it's not like they're not yelling at each other. It's more like we don't know what we're going to do next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ogremon wakes up and his stomach is rumbling, and that breaks the tense atmosphere. Ogremon says that he wanted to finish his battle with Ogremon, and then Piyomon, Palmon, and Tentomon return with food. And Tentomon mentions seeing some Soundbirdmon, and Yamato asks Taichi what he's thinking, and Taichi says how there are enemy eyes all over the forest. So that was really cute that the Digimon actually went out to get food without their human partners, which is...
It's clever.
Again, the show's showing us that they're not, like, attached to their partners at all time. They're actually going out and doing things. I don't think we really saw Digimon really interact without their partners or go out without them.
What if we had a buddy cop movie, but it's about 8 different pairs of buddies?
Yeah, I'd like that. Because I want Buddy Cop with Palmon and Mimi.
Oh god, that sounds great. Unironically, the only good thing to come out of the O2 epilogue is that I very much want it, like a crime show starring Ken and Stingmon.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a good thing to come out of the epilogue.
Detective Stingmon would be so good. Anyway, we can move on. Yeah, I appreciate that the fight was about something reasonable that was handled in a reasonable way for the time being.
Yeah, it's not accelerating to punching immediately. We find out that Koshiro has made a great discovery, apparently, and it's a huge map of the Cloud Continent. And then he sends the rest of the group, and he's talking about how there's a few points where the Holy Digimon may be located, and they should find one. And I was really, really worried that this would be a separation arc, but then Koshiro overlays the direction that Ogremon points out. And thanks to Ogremon, we're not going to have a separation arc, I thought, anyway. But we find more about that later. But yeah, I was like, oh good, no separation arc. So Koshiro's just basically sending the entire group in one direction and everything will be okay. Yay.
Okay, so
Yamato says this information sounds trustworthy.
Can I jump in here?
Yep.
Because that doesn't make any
yes,
damn
please.
sense. Okay, yes, you have a map and you know that there is a place in the direction he pointed. That in no way tells you that one's not a trap.
Oh yes, absolutely. There could have been, something waiting in the way, or
Yeah, like
or the map itself is a trap.
we resolved
Like, it's
the
not actually
argument,
there.
but without dealing with any of the underlying causes for it, which is
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, it seemed like a very weird sort of easy way out of the confrontation. We had the confrontation, but we had a way out of it. Like I don't know, just it's
It was basically
annoying.
just put aside for now because
Yeah,
we know
it's
we're
like,
coming
okay,
back to it.
yeah, because at least like the confrontation between Taichi and Yamato wasn't really ever resolved, so it was sort of pent up, and they just would always just punch each other. But here it's sort of like it is resolved, but it's resolved in a fairly easy way that doesn't really feel like
There was
I
no
don't know,
character
that-
growth for either of them.
Yeah, it was like a 5-minute like semi-confrontation where everyone was uncomfortable, and then Agumon's stomach rumbled. But yeah, no, it's
I will say
yeah.
they've changed a lot with Colin, but it really is nostalgic to see Matt and Ty arguing about whether or not we need a plan while Izzy does all the work and comes up with a plan.
Yeah, that's very, like, on brand, and I'm glad that Koshiro is the one to have the plan, and it's not like anyone else. It's sort of, it makes sense. I know Joe wants to, like, come up with a plan, but I think that's just because he feels like he's required to as the eldest.
Well, and Joe is very studious, but he's not actually very good at things. That's why he was failing out of his entrance exams. Like,
Yeah, like,
he's a good boy, and I
Joe-
like him, but
yeah.
maybe planning's
Joe
not
is
your
not
thing.
he's not the smart one. He's the one who thinks he's the smart one, but he's really not. Like, Koshiro's smart, and I think maybe even Yamato might be smarter than Joe.
Yeah.
Because Joe has been more or less forced into this occupation, it seems. Like, I'm not sure we've ever had Joe seem to want to do what he's doing. Like, he's never
he never
said that it's his dream in any season.
Yeah. I mean, we know he becomes a Digimon doctor, which is fine, but does suggest that he did not get into med school.
Yeah, which I like that. That's something else I like about the 02 epilogue, is that Joe became a vet, basically, which is, I've heard, harder to get into than like medicine with humans, because it's so like vast. Like, there's different kinds of animals. But I liked the fact that he was going down his own path. He wasn't following in everyone's footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't saying, okay, I'm a doctor because everyone else is a doctor. He did his own thing, and I really liked that from the epilogue. And I hope that this season also has him not want to go down the same path that has basically been decided for him, even though he's very young. He says he's old and he feels like a grown-up, but in reality, Joe is very young, and he's just decided what occupation he wants to be, judging by what other people say. Like, yeah,
really,
I don't think we've ever had him say,
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's never like, I want to be a doctor, I want to help people. It's always, I'm going to be a doctor because everyone else is.
Yep.
So the group set out to this destination that Ogremon pointed out, and Taichi and Ogremon seem to be luring out Metal Tyrannomon, and we get some more tactical smarts, which I'm a fan of. I like how we're getting more tactical than just, why don't we just make a bigger attack and attack?
Yeah.
Like, I like the fact that, and this episode continues that sort of trend of they're actually doing some smart things. They're not being silly.
I mean, sending Greymon and Tai off on their own to fight the Digimon they've lost to once already isn't really that smart.
Okay, yeah, I see that. I see the point there. Like, it is weird that they said, why these two? Why only those two? Do we have another way? Why not try, I mean, the characters in general are fairly dumb today.
Yeah, the figuring out about Metal Tyrannomon's hands was kind of neat, but the plan itself that they came up with is, I guess I will say, accurate to what a bunch of fourth graders would probably think is a brilliant plan.
Yeah, and that does make sense. Like, you can argue a lot of they're kids. They're not tactical geniuses. They have technical smarts. They have sort of like the ideas of being tactical.
They're doing okay, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's weird. Like, I would have sent out, like, maybe Garurumon because he's faster.
Yeah.
Or, like, I don't know, one of the flying Digimon, because we don't have any flying Digimon evolved, which later becomes something that really annoys me.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll get to that main point that really annoyed me later on when we get to it.
Fair.
So Ogremon evolves to Greymon to fight Metal Tyrannomon because it worked so well last time that of course it's going to work this time. And meanwhile the group find a gross smelling swamp which they have to cross, and Koshiro finds that the strange mist seems to be originating from Metal Tyrannomon. Joe suggests throwing something in, so Mimi, who is a genius, tosses one of Joe's books in, his exam prep book, and it gets eaten by the swamp. So they decide that they won't be swimming over it with Gomamon today.
Alright, I'm calling it now. That moment just fed like 1,000, I don't know the name for a Joe Mimi ship.
I think
Joe Me.
I think Joe Mimi is just Joe Me.
That could definitely be. But this section really bothered me, and it's maybe the most damning thing that can be said about Colin, because despite weeks, or at least a week, out in the world, she's still got perfectly clean clothes, her hair's on point, but you're telling me that her fingernails are not painted? What the hell?
Well, maybe Palmon's are.
I mean, yeah, but the idea that Mimi wouldn't be painting her nails every damn day? I'm sorry.
Maybe she's too tough for that, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe this is like tough Mimi. Like, she'll do her hair, but really she's just got dirt covered in her nails and she's all like punching the dirt and, I don't know, doing stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe.
But maybe also that would have been too hard to draw. I
mean, yeah, that is of course the real answer, but it still bugged me.
Yeah.
She can have her hair always perfect because it's on model. No. Deal with it.
It is weird that their clothes aren't dirty or something.
Yep.
Like, last episode they were like in the dirt, and the start of this episode they were also in the dirt. Like, at least I had a little bit of like dirt patch or something.
Yeah, like you guys just outran an explosion. Maybe a little dirt.
Yeah. I mean, I can't expect Digimon to do too much because I don't think we've ever had had them really do some. I mean, Ogemon's horn, that's lasting damage. But had lasting
Environmental
like
effects.
we haven't had lasting scratches. We haven't had lasting dirt patches or any dirt or
you get
anything.
to the end of adventure and Ty is just a mass of scars.
Yeah.
Oh, I made myself sad.
Poor thing.
Ty's
But
fine.
it does seem pretty accurate.
Yeah. So Greymon is using his speed against Metal Tyrannomon, which really reminds me of a scene in Digimon Next, which is one of the manga, where we have the main character's Greymon and a Greymon that's just huge, but the main character's Greymon is able to like outbeat him because he's a lot faster, because he's a smaller size, so he's able to sort of outmaneuver him. And I don't know why, but this scene just reminded me of it so much. Like the bigger dinosaur Digimon and the small dinosaur Digimon, and the small ones sort of just being faster. So Greymon says that he won't give up, and then Greymon's launched away by Metal Tyrannomon's missiles, and of course they land near the rest of the group. And Greymon is apparently still standing, and he's not Ogremon yet, he's still Greymon. And then Taichi and Greymon charge at Metal Tyrannomon, and we get an evolution, which is, again, a very sort of body horror evolution. It reminds me of our first evolution with Greymon in the first episode, how his body just sort of like grows and is torn apart and metal appears. And it's very nice. It feels surprisingly short compared to the first episode's evolution to Greymon, which was fairly long, and like he attacked during his evolution, and it was just a lot prettier. This one seems...
It was very rushed.
Very,
by
like, a
comparison.
lot shorter than it should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we get a new insert song, which is bundled with the album release that's coming out at the end of this month, I think.
Is it?
I think it's called like Extreme Fight or something. I can't remember the exact name, but it's bundled with the insert song for Be the Winner and the opening.
Oh, I thought that was only those two tracks, unless they've added more.
No, the track list hadn't been actually announced yet.
Oh, cool.
But it's now been said that this is on it, so I guess they were trying to keep this as a secret, that there was an extra song.
That's cool.
And it's a very nice song. I mean, I might be wrong there. That's just what I've heard. Unless I dreamed it, I'm pretty sure With the Will made a post about it being a track on the CD. But yeah, so that's cool. But it's a fairly cool song, and it plays during the evolution and during the fight. And Metal Tyrannomon, it basically is caused to fall into a swamp. And I don't know, I'm not sure how this evolution was triggered by the Crest of Courage. Nothing really courageous happened that was more courageous than usual. Taichi's kind of always been courageous.
He done a dodge.
Yeah. I'm starting to think that these crests are something that has already activated when they first meet their Digimon. And that's how the crest is determined. It's not sort of something that they already have. It's determined by how they meet their partner, or how they have their partner evolve for the first time. So I think that this show is just saying that the crests are working completely differently. That they're not something that you have to get to activate. I just think that Greymon decided to evolve, but nothing like completely courageous happened this episode. It happened in the first episode when he jumps the turnstiles because he wants to check on his mum and sister. That's courage. But this episode didn't really have any sign of courage, like compared to the arrival, not the arrival of Skull Greymon, the earthquake of Metal Greymon. I can't talk today, so I don't think it's the same as that, because that was very cool. It was him being courageous. This is sort of like he was persistent and
he was just having a normal day,
to not
basically.
give up.
He was pretty much just having a normal day.
Yeah, like this seemed that this was the same character that we've seen for 10 episodes now. He has not become more courageous. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how I feel about it, because
he didn't even punch this Digimon.
But, so of course it's Metal Greymon's episode, so Metal Greymon wins, but Metal Tyrannomon is just disintegrated, basically. He dissolves into data, which is a fairly nice looking scene, but I don't think we've seen someone be disintegrated like this yet, besides the Algomon in like episode 1, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just seems
a
lot
very
more
fast battle.
Yeah.
Once we got to that point.
Yeah, the evolution wasn't until the very end of the episode, and
I was expecting a cliffhanger come back next week.
Yeah, I was expecting a cliffhanger, but it just sort of, the battle just sort of happened, and very quickly ended as soon as he evolved. I thought it was going to be there's Metal Greymon at the end of the episode, and the episode ends, but no, we've got a little bit of stuff that happens afterwards.
I think you could have very easily done a glowy half evolution thing like you did for Garurumon, and just he suplexed the Metal Tyrannomon and it died. Would have been fine, and we wouldn't have needed an evolution this early.
Yeah. Or they could have all evolved to their adult forms.
Yeah, that would have been good too.
Like,
Teamwork.
I feel like they have enough Digimon, and it's been enough time, and they've eaten. They should all be able to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, and we're about to come to a part that makes even less sense about why they couldn't have evolved. So, Agumon says that he hopes that Ogremon was watching, and then the children return to wondering how to cross the swamp, and they're just ignoring the fact that, as I said, we only had one evolution this episode. It was Ogremon. And we're just ignoring the fact that we have 2 other flying Digimon on the team.
Just hanging out.
We're not even going to say, we can't fly over it because of the mist, because the mist is bad, because I'm fairly certain the mist basically dissipated when Metal Tyrannomon was defeated. But they didn't even pull something out like that, like, there's too much mist remaining, and we don't know how high up it's going to be, or the Digimon were tired, or anything. They didn't make up any reason why they couldn't use the flying Digimon.
My counter-argument there is when they arrived on the Cloud Continent, they're immediately shot out of the sky by missiles. So trying to fly over to the headquarters again, they're probably going to be shot down by missiles.
Yeah, but I feel like they wouldn't. That wouldn't have stopped them.
Yeah, like this is
I don't
Digimon.
think risking flying over the dark mist
maneuvers
towards no, it's too risky. Flying over the dark mist towards the heavily defended headquarters where they're going to be shot down into the dissolving dark mist.
That sounds exactly like
good.
a Digimon plan, yes.
But
it's
also,
not smart.
Them separating is dangerous. Every way across would be dangerous.
You never split the party.
Yeah, and I hate separation arcs, and I was so happy when we weren't going to be getting one, but now we are.
I don't mind them.
It's Yamato's fault, basically. And I was going to have Yamato be my favourite character, but then he caused a separation arc, and I'm not happy with him.
I'm calling this week's
What's wrong with
title as
separations?
it's Yamato's fault, basically.
Yeah, it's all Yamato's fault. Like, I was all on board with him being an okay character in this episode, and then he caused us to have a separation arc.
We just finished our separation arc.
Yeah, I mean, we just got back together,
But
and now we're just like,
6 episodes.
Yeah, it's almost like the writers can't write having characters have their own episodes without a large amount of characters be in them. They're like, oh, well, that was too hard. Let's separate the characters for the rest of the evolutions are perfect.
It was really hard to explain why they all just stood there.
Yeah. And it annoys me that they haven't tried flying away. They didn't even use Bergermon. It's like, hey, Bergermon, just do a bit of a scope of the area, just fly up, see what you can see if how close the headquarters is, see if we're going to get attacked. And she could have come back down like, oh no, there's too many Digimon, we're safer to be in the forest with the fog. There was no excuse. They didn't, like, it would have taken 30 seconds or less to come up with a silly excuse about why they couldn't fly over. But now I'm just sitting here like, just fly, just do it, just do it. You have
Don't just fly, you'll all die.
Yeah, but they didn't address that, and also anything that they do will lead them to sudden death. Like, they don't know how many ground Digimon. They've also encountered Digimon that want to kill them on the ground. Like, I feel like Digimon being there is just sort of to be expected, but now they have a perfect level, so they didn't just decide to, I don't know, Metal Greymon can fly. He's a lot stronger than anything else they've encountered. I don't know, I don't like separation arcs, and I don't like the fact they didn't come up with some completely easy excuse of why they couldn't try to fly. And yeah, sure that they don't want to be shot out of the sky, but there's a lot of them now, and Kabuterimon seems also very agile, so I don't know, we have 2 flying Digimon now.
Yeah, Kabuterimon literally flew in over the base and just shot down all the missiles, which, again, that sounds exactly like a thing that happens in Digimon.
Yeah, but
They just need to get the episode number's up to reach 66. That's it.
Yeah, like I mean, I was
They need
originally
3
thinking
more.
like, okay, episode 66. That means we have extra time to get all our characters to evolve to their fully evolved form. So Ultimate in the Japanese version and Mega in the dub. But what if it's not that? What if it's just they work up to getting to Omegamon again? Even though I know that we'll probably likely see Rosemon and Vikemon and everyone else, because we know that their previous selves were able to evolve to that level. But yeah.
Yeah, I am concerned about it, especially if we get the worst of both, which is everyone does get to their Mega level, and then Omegamon happens and still is just the only one who gets to do anything important.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Like, I would be very happy if we don't get Omegamon again.
Yeah.
Like, I doubt that will happen, because it's Digimon.
Maybe if we got it in the last episode, that would be fine.
Yeah.
But
I also think that we'll be getting a new Omegamon form. That just seems
yeah, there's only like
on
12.
point,
We
like
need
on
more.
brand. Yeah, I feel like we get a new one every year, and I don't think we've had an Omegamon this year.
Gonna get Omegamon colon mode, where it's just 2 Omegamons.
Yeah, or Omegamon Psy. And the whole time, the Psy title was correct.
Yep. Actually, I kind of now call that.
Yep. Okay, I guess that's our major prediction. But I guess we're to the end of the synopsis, so we can move on to discussion. What were your highlights for this episode?
Izzy's a good boy.
Yeah, Koshiro was a pretty good highlight.
Yeah, always. Koshiro is always a highlight. He basically... we wouldn't be able to deal without Koshiro. He's found out so much. And, like, the party would have not gone anywhere if it wasn't for Koshiro.
It's wild that Koshiro and Mimi are the youngest characters and by far the most responsible in pulling their weight in this team.
I also enjoyed Mimi just throwing Joe's textbook into the
Hell
asthma.
yeah. God, that was good.
Because I think Mimi is smart. I think she's like
Mimi's great.
she's a doer. Like, Joe's standing there going, oh, maybe we should throw something in. And Mimi's like,
Yoink.
okay.
It was your idea.
Yeah. And also, I think that maybe she did it because also Joe should not be carrying around those books. They just seem like...
There's a lot of good reasons for this.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. They're probably very heavy. That looked like a very heavy book. And he probably is studying in every bit of downtime. And he's probably not resting. So, I don't know why I'm reading into this so much, but I think Mimi did it.
No,
to,
I completely agree with you. It solved multiple problems at once, and that sounds like Mimi.
Like, Mimi's good. But, I mean, I want, like, the adventures of Mimi and Gomamon. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think I really have many highlights in this episode. It wasn't a bad episode. The animation was very pretty, the evolution, but it just felt short. I like the scenery, but I can't think of many highlights of this episode. Oh yeah, Nurse Gomamon, that was my highlight.
Oh yeah, Nurse Gomamon,
That's good.
The other good one.
But I can't really think of many.
It was a very
highlights.
actiony episode, and yeah, I don't know. The action was okay, but I really didn't feel like it was a particularly big deal that we made it to Metal Greymon. It just kind of happened.
It did feel sort of early.
Like,
And,
even
like,
with the
in the
build up
original
the last
series
episode, it didn't feel like it was quite there yet.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
a little bit from last time, but just I'm gonna go be the distraction for some reason was a terrible
Also,
plan.
it makes me think that Devimon is a lot stronger and will be lasting a lot longer, and he's stronger because he has an army.
Yeah.
Or it seems like he actually has a competent army of very strong Digimon, and he's able to command very strong Digimon. And I feel like we're just going to have Devimon for a lot longer. I'm going to say, like, we're going to have Devimon as a bad guy for, like, 30 episodes. I think we'll be skipping Edamon.
I could maybe see skipping Edamon and going to 20 on this, but I don't think we'll spend half the show on Devimon.
Or we have Devimon evolve to Myotismon.
That might work. I could see that, but obviously Devimon is going to turn out to be Patamon.
I really want that.
I want that
I
so
want that
much.
really badly. Yeah, like, they have the holy Digimon, but they're actually corrupt.
Yeah, well, and
That'd be so good.
it's such a good way of dealing with the holy Digimon is that way. He's right there.
Yeah, and just maybe like Tailmon is Lady Devimon or something. I don't know.
That'd be great.
I don't think that will happen because that seems too good.
Yeah, you could even pair it with then Tailmon is still forced to work for Myotismon or whoever, even Devimon directly.
Yeah.
She held out and Patamon didn't, which she had hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that will happen, but I really want
It would
to happen.
work better than what I think we're gonna get.
Yeah, the only time I've ever said, "Oh, I think this will happen," but it probably won't because it's good writing, was Atmon did that. It was for like a lot of the last part.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is probably going to happen," but like, I want this to happen, but it'll never happen because it's too well written. And just because it happened with Atmon, it's never happened again with Digimon. Digimon doesn't seem to go as deep as it could. And
it's a real shame.
whenever people say that Atmon isn't Digimon, I'll say one of two things. I'll say, okay, yeah, Tamers isn't Digimon either, or I'll say, yeah, you're right, it's not Digimon, it's good.
You're not wrong. This has definitely not been as good as Atmon was at this point.
So far, yeah, I can feel like it could still become better than Atmon.
Yeah,
or
there's
as
a lot
good
of
as
room.
Atmon. Atmon did have a few episodes in the start that weren't that good.
That's true.
When they were still okay. They were still better than a lot of Digimon, but they still had Astra's introduction episode, which was not.
I still kind of hate
good.
Astra, and I know he gets to be a good boy.
Yeah.
But I haven't forgotten Astra.
No, I could not rewatch his introduction episode. It's just not. It's not good. But he gets better, and I like him more. But thinking about that first episode, it's just like, what did they do? What did the writers do? They were just. It was just not incredible. But yeah, Atmon is still my favorite season. I would like for Colin to replace it as my favorite season. I'd like to have all Digimon seasons to succeed in every previous Digimon season, because I think they should. But yeah, I'm now not as confident as I was when we started Colin that this would be a better season than Atmon. The first episode I still think is probably as good, if not better, than Atmon, but the rest of the season just sort of
hasn't had the writing.
Weird.
And
yeah.
I don't understand how you got the perfect writing team together last time and have somehow blown it. And they haven't quite blown it yet, but it's very clearly
it's
a
episode
drop-off.
10. Yeah, it could have gone better. Do we have any more highlights?
You know what? I have to say,
not really.
Suplexing the Metal Tyrannomon was a highlight.
Oh yeah, the battle was probably my favorite part, even though it felt very quick. But it was very, very pretty, and the colours were very nice. We had Metal Tyrannomon basically get mad and charge himself up, looking very Godzilla-esque in his swamp. That was very nice to look at.
That's true. I was into that.
Yeah. But are you okay to move on to our lowlights?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lowlights, mine are very obvious. I've already mentioned it. They didn't spend 10 seconds explaining why they couldn't fly over. They could have even, the suggestion that Stevie had, which was that they couldn't fly over because they were attacked. They could have said that, but it felt weird that they didn't. Nobody even suggested flying over.
Yeah.
It's like they forgot the existence of flying Digimon, and the fact that nobody evolved in this episode makes sense because, okay, it's Ty's evolution episode, but
You have
it
to
makes
give me
me
a reason
even
for it.
yeah, it makes me even mad that they're not even trying to fly up just to see what the area's like. Nobody did that. No, the entire episode, nobody said, okay, we'll scout the area while Taichi is distracting the bad guys. They didn't do anything. They just ran around on foot with their baby Digimon. Well, not baby Digimon, but small, weaker Digimon. It just felt weird. We didn't even have Garurumon running through the forest, which would have been cool. I would have expected Garurumon to at least be in this episode. But it was weird that there was no reason why they could not just all evolve. They've rested, they've eaten. They should have enough power to evolve to adult and try to fight against Metal Tyrannomon. they gave no reason why. It was just Agumon and Taichi that had to go out and lure Metal Tyrannomon because they lost last time. It's obvious that you need more than just 1 or 2 adult level Digimon. They could have all evolved, and I feel like they would have been able to beat Metal Tyrannomon just with a fully evolved cast. They never
even gave it a shot.
said why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they never gave it a shot.
And I feel like that was a big deal in the original adventure when they did, all kind of team up on Devimon and just get curb stomped.
Yeah. Like, yes, show us get curb stomped. Show us that it's not possible
Unless they do this, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they wanted to split up the party, because, I don't know, having one person run towards certain death. I get that they might have just been trying to, have Taichi do something courageous, but it didn't seem courageous because...
It mostly just
I don't
felt
know,
kind of
just-
dumb. Like,
Yeah, it didn't seem as courageous as,
we spent...
Taichi goes through a wall and basically is walking towards Edamon.
Right.
Like, that's cool.
And Adventure, before we got to that point, had to have Tai learn the difference between being brave and doing something reckless for no reason. And this felt a lot more reckless for no reason. Even if you agreed you needed to split the party, send 2.
Yeah. And also, the original, and this kind of ties into the next discussion point, which is compared with the original series, we didn't get Skull Greymon. We didn't get any sort of, arc. I actually really do like the Taichi's mini arc that we get. It's kind of it feels weird that we only get a mini arc for Taichi and not for the rest of the cast, but I always really liked that arc because it showed that he was growing and improving. But in this episode, it just felt like he didn't deserve the evolution. I felt like they should have spent more time on him as a character.
Episode 10 Tai does not feel like he has grown at all since episode 1. He kind of just started off perfect and has stayed there.
Yeah, which is the problem of having all the characters fairly decent, being fairly decent people from the start, is that where do we go from here? They are still 10-year-olds. We can't have them grow too much because then there'll be 10-year-olds that sound like 40-year-olds, and that's not fun. The only character that I can see with a flaw is Joe, because he is a little ball of anxiety and kind of lets that frustration out, and that's not good. He's a kid being forced to become a doctor basically, and is under a lot of pressure, so that's not fun, but that's also a flaw. So
yeah,
at least we have Joe having flaws. I think that no other character in this show has flaws. Not even Yamato. Yamato just seems shy.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to have any flaws. Yamato seems reasonable. We don't have Mimi is also reasonably well, that smells really gross. I don't want to go through that. But also every other character was like that because that's reasonable. You don't want to go through the poisonous swamp.
Yeah. And I think that it's not that you could not have done this. You could not have made these kids, just pretty decent, nice kids who get along. But you still have to do something from there, which would have been a great opportunity to give them much more realistic feeling flaws than just, I am weirdly helicoptery over my brother.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wish we had characters with flaws just a little bit, or just, something that sort of emerged. Maybe some realization that, okay, they've just been on their best behavior, but when they come down to it, they're still kids that need to grow.
Yeah.
But these kids, they seem fine.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to Ikakumon to Zudomon, because Joe actually has some flaws to grow and no one else does.
Yeah, and look, I know it's anime, but these kids have been alone in the woods for a week, about to die every day, and they all seem extremely well adjusted.
Have we even had the sort of discussion about if they die, they die? Are we in fear of dying, or are we just sort of assuming that dying is bad? We shouldn't die, because in the original they were all very okay, it doesn't really affect us. Maybe we can't die, and then they realized that hey, they can die.
Yeah, and that was even if it was only Tai who really got caught up in that. That was a reasonable place to go with the information that he had.
Yeah, but we haven't even really discussed that. I think they just assume that they will die. I think even Yamato mentions it in this episode. If we die, we die.
Yep.
But no one's sort of stressed out by that. Taichi didn't,
They're just sort of
second guess
vaguely,
himself.
hoping not to die, but without, I don't know. It does not, to the characters, feel like it's something they're actually expecting.
No, it does not. And it makes it... And they could have taken that in a sort of way to help Taichi activate his Crest of Courage.
Yeah.
But no, he didn't fear anything. And that's not courage.
Yeah.
Because courage is facing the fear, and he just did not seem fearful at all.
No, he was just having a good time. He got to ride a dinosaur.
Yeah, and the fact that, he's on the dinosaur the entire time is dangerous. So, yeah, those are more or less my lowlights. I felt like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it just didn't seem as well written as we've had previous episodes be. Any other lowlights?
No.
Did Sora do anything?
None of the characters did anything besides...
She came out
Taichi.
and
Sora
told the
especially.
important people that Izzy had come up with everything they actually needed while they were fighting over whether or not they needed a plan.
She barely did that.
Yeah.
Tentomon
She
did
barely
that.
did that.
That was her line. She had basically one line in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, at least Mimi and Joe have their own little bits, but Sora got pretty much nothing this whole episode.
Yeah. And that's annoying. Like, I feel like Sora looked so cool in the opening animation, and now we've got... I don't know, she's just kind of there.
She's being shunned again, just like the original series.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully it sort of works up to her evolution episode and we find that she's just shy because emotions or something.
Yeah, but Sora historically has always had pretty bad Digivolution episodes.
No, the original episode where Biyomon evolves to Bergermon is great. Sora's just unsure because she's just so different from her Digimon and she doesn't understand why she's partnered with that Digimon or why Biyomon is so clingy. And then we've got the evolution to Perfect where she is, not feeling love because she felt like her mum never let her do anything, but then she realised that her mum really loved her the entire time and was just worried about her, didn't want her to hurt herself further when she was already injured. Like, I think that Sora probably has some of the best evolution episodes and a lot more meaningful. And even the episode when Biyomon evolves in this episode, I feel like in this season, was fairly cool. Probably not as good as the original episode because there was actually some conflict between Sora and Biyomon, and we actually got to see Biyomon be more or less of a character in that original episode. But it was still fine. Like, I feel like Sora does have good episodes, just not in this season.
Yeah, I feel like the thing we were worried about when we first saw the intro and it was just the Taichi and Matt show. Has
when the intro is just Taichi.
Yeah, it is, and then there's the outro that's just Yamato, and I think it's very clear that we have 4 other characters and eventually 6, and so far they have not wowed me with what they're doing even with the 2 characters they care about.
Yeah.
The past 3 episodes have been the Taichi and Yamato episodes.
Yeah. I mean,
it was like the next one will also be a Yamato
3...
episode.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're up to episode 10,
I'm...
and I think we're on our, 6th Taichi and Yamato episode.
Yeah. Which, I'm not going to judge the entire season just by 10 episodes. Like, I'm not saying that it can wow me again.
Improve, but, yeah.
Yeah, it can certainly improve from here. It's fine. The first 3 episodes, I feel like they explained why they could get to Omegamon fairly well. They actually addressed it, and they said that, Ogremon can't actually remember it. So I'm a big fan of that. But... so far, I think that the episodes when they've been separated have actually been better than the episodes when they're together, just because I felt like they actually had time to focus on all the characters, and now it's too many characters, so maybe a separation arc is a good thing.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering why you're complaining about it. Just because, when we've got all 6 of them together, we've had it focus on Taichi and Yamato, but up to this point, it's been a lot better when there were less of them. So splitting them off should hopefully mean that we actually get focus on the characters that aren't time map.
But do we know how the team has been split?
It'll be Matt in one team, Tai on the other.
Yeah, but that still makes me nervous because I'm just like, oh, it's still going to be the Yamato and Tai show. They just separate this time and they're taking turns about whose show it is.
Yeah, or worst of all, they'll try and cut each episode into half.
No, I think it's going to be just a sort of mini filler arc where everyone gets their ultimates. So it'll be Matt next, and then it'll just sort of bounce around between the 2 teams to get the rest of them. So it'll be at least 5 episodes, I reckon.
If they're not
of getting ultimates.
if they're not doing Super Ultimates this season, I don't know how they're gonna make this work in a way that feels at all satisfying.
Yeah.
So,
Any other lowlights?
that Mimi was not a highlight.
Yeah, that's also my lowlight. I could not pick her as my favorite character. Anything else?
I wish
All right.
Tide died when he got blown up multiple times.
No, that's awful. No, we don't do that.
Just like it
Yeah.
removes
I
all
think
weight
Tide's
from the
fine.
combat. Because we see Greymon get exploded by missiles so many times, and he's just like, "No, I'm fine."
Oh yes. Oh, absolutely. It doesn't make sense why he's riding the Greymon. It seems reckless.
He blasts off
And
like
not
Team Rocket,
courageous.
and he's fine, like Team Rocket.
Yeah.
Like we
Like I'm pretty sure he's squashed.
we get a shot of just Meltranomon point blank shooting them with missiles, and it cuts away and comes back just like,
Yep.
"Oh yeah, they're fine now."
Yeah.
Like I think the Digivice is doing some sort of protective shielding
Which is
based
bullshit.
off like when Metal Greymon digivolves, you see Ty gets lifted off in an orange bubble, but
Yeah,
they
but
haven't mentioned that.
yeah, I mean,
Fuck that.
in like the first few episodes, we had Greymon actually squish Taichi when they fell back when they were in the
Yeah.
net. So it's not good. It's not good that they do that, but it feels like it's just sort of, I guess this is what we're doing now. We're just squashing the humans, and they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I think it is just going to be a case of the Digivice is shielding them. That's the write-off, so that they can have the kids
Yeah,
still
but-
in combat.
Again, they should say that.
They
the
should
show
do
should
that.
say that.
Yeah. You took a
But then
minute to
again,
tell us it
also-
was a cell phone multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of hate that is a protection bubble, because it's good that the Digimon are actually attacking the humans this time, but it makes me feel like there's no danger if there's just a Digivice protection bubble.
Yeah, it's way too convenient, and like if you can protect the human from effectively all the damage, like why
Yeah.
can't you do that to a bigger thing?
Mm.
I don't know. I don't like it.
No, I'm not a big fan either.
How does Ty
what
stay
about
glued to
favourite-
Greymon's head
Yeah.
otherwise?
So we've kind of already addressed comparing with the original series. Do we have any other thoughts?
No, I don't think
Episode
so.
10 of the original series was Clue from the Digipast.
Digipast? Yeah.
Which is fine.
Which is, I mean, that is the separation arc. So we're now back on track to match sort of with how the episodes were going. We've been separated, but not by Devimon, by plot swamp.
Yeah, this is going to be trios though instead of duos.
Yeah.
So maybe
Which could
that'll
be
be
good.
it might be a bit better. Instead of it just being a squabble between two people most episodes.
Yeah. I mean, I think how I would like the characters to be split is that I think I want Mimi, Joe, and Koshiro to be in one team because they seem pretty cool. And then we have Yamato, Taichi, and Sora in another team, but I feel like that's just putting two love triangles together, and I really don't want that. I don't want any romance in this show,
No.
which is just about fighting.
If I had to guess, I think Yamato, Joe, and Mimi will go on one team with Taichi, Sora, and
Okay.
Koshiro on
Yeah.
the other. That would be my
Yeah,
guess.
that makes
though.
sense.
That seems like they're just sorting them almost by hair color.
Maybe
I will say,
we won't know until we see next episode what this what they're into.
whatever team that they put Sora on will be done explicitly for the shippers. So
Oh, I don't want that.
it's gonna happen. There is no way they're not going to intend one way or another, and for that reason, I am predicting Sora goes with Yamato.
Yeah,
No.
I think that Sora will go with Yamato. Yeah,
Sora will be sent with Taichi.
I don't want any shipping. I'm fine with having my
No.
show about 10-year-olds to not have relationships.
Yeah, very fine with that. But I definitely predict that we'll get it anyway.
I don't think
Yeah.
we'll get
I mean-
Yamato and Sora together because Taichi and Sora have been together since like episode 4.
Yeah, but that's more reason for them to have Yamato and Sora, just because we don't really know about how they would interact. And their interactions
We don't.
in the original series were always pretty enjoyable, because they, like, Taichi and Sora knew each other longer and they got along because they're both in the same football team. But Yamato and Sora, resonate more on an emotional level. They both understand what it's like to be sad, and they're able to sort of sympathize with each other. But I don't think Taichi's ever been sad.
Yeah.
Are we okay to move on to favorite character?
Question.
Yeah.
Does Taichi have anyone he's ever met that he does not consider to be a friend?
No, he's a good boy.
Metal Tyrannomon. Metal Tyrannomon was not his friend.
I feel like he could have been.
Yeah, I feel like if he,
No.
met him after Digi-Egg, he'd just be like, hey, that was a great fight. Come on, dude, let's go play soccer or football or
Yeah.
other sport.
Just anything. Just, do you want to wrestle? That'd be fun. Let's do that.
God, he really would wrestle with the child Digimon.
He would.
He would. It would be.
He would.
He
He's a good boy.
God, could we get Ty to go hang out in whatever primary village is this time?
Yeah. All right. So, favorite character?
I kind of didn't have one.
I didn't either. Mine's probably super dumb because I just picked Gomamon because Nurse Gomamon, but it was only for about 5 seconds. Otherwise, I guess it would be Taichi.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't know. I still feel like I preferred Gomamon in those 5 seconds than Taichi in the entire 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to have to say Gomamon because Gomamon's a good boy. We'll go Stevie. Who was your favorite character?
I'm gonna go with Yamato.
Okay, that's fair. See, I would have also chosen Yamato, but then there was the separation arc issue. And
I like
Quinn?
separation arcs.
I'm gonna go with Sora, if only because she has magnanimously put up with this bullshit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sora's stood there. Good contribution.
Hey, that is more than they'd be getting out of me at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. Alright, what about rating out of 5? My rating that I gave in the blog post will probably be lower after having discussed this episode, but we'll go Stevie first. What rating out of 5?
Probably a 3. 3's about as high as I'm willing to go.
Yeah, that's fair. Quinn?
1.5?
Wow. Meanwhile for me is I originally said 3, but after discussing the episode I'm just like, oh, there were no highlights. I was basically giving it a 3 just because it looked pretty, and I don't feel like it deserves even that, so I'm going to say 2.5, which is, I think, my lowest rating for the season so far.
Mine definitely is.
And, what about the ranking? So, I'll go first. My ranking is, it's getting a bit long to say the entire ranking, so, like, my top 3 is Episode 6, The Targeted Kingdom, Episode 5, The Holy Digimon, Episode 1, Tokyo Digital Crisis, and my bottom 3 are from worst to slightly less worse, is Episode 3, Enter the Digital World, Episode 8, The Children's Siege, and Episode 2, War Game. And I'm going to put Episode 10 at the bottom, so under Episode 3. So I sent both Stevie and Quinn their rankings, so I won't read out any of their rankings. I'll be putting it up on the website at some point, so, and as well as our overall ranking, which uses the average episode rating that we've all given, all put together and working out the average from that. Stevie, your bottom 3 are Episode 9, The Ultimate Invasion, Episode 1, Tokyo Digital Crisis, Episode 6, The Targeted Kingdom, and your bottom 3 from worst to most okay is Episode 4, Bergermon Soars, Episode 5, The Holy Digimon, Episode 3, Enter the Digital World. Where are we putting Episode 10?
Well, looking at what I've rated the other episodes, this will come 7th. Yep, 7th.
So it's coming...
just below
is
that man Joe Kiddo.
Okay, after that man... Okay, cool. Yep, I can see that. And Quinn, your top 3 from best to not best. Episode 6, Episode 1, Episode 8, and then worst to okayest, Episode 4, Episode 3, Episode 2. Where are we putting Episode 10?
Amazingly, this is one very special case where it's gonna get a 10 out of 10. Absolute dead last.
Yeah, like, so we both put that episode at the dead last. I think that's, looking at the rankings we've given, I think that's the only time we've really gone that low in our
The lowest Quinn's given before has been a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the lowest I've given before is also a 3. So this is, it makes sense that it's my lowest. I'm just going to be putting that in. So working out, so all of our points added up is 7, which means that our previous lowest was an 8.5, which was episode 3. So in the in our overall ranking, episode 10 is also at the bottom, even with Stevie's optimistic 3.
3 is being
But I guess
generous.
that makes sense because 1.5 and 2.5 are both as low as we've gone, but not as low as Stevie's gone. So yeah, I'll be putting that on the website at some point when I have the time, because it's actually kind of a good chart at the moment. We've got some stats, and I like that. I like when we have stats.
Spreadsheets are good.
On to questions. We don't have as many as last time, which is not a bad thing because we had quite a few last time. So Lex on YouTube says, why doesn't somebody appreciate the meme face of Kabuterimon in the moment they introduce themselves? I thought it looked a lot like when Tentomon evolves to Kabuterimon in Tri, and we sort of have that sort of weird sort of frame where they're just sort of hanging in fighting game position. But no, I have seen a lot of people use the Tentomon arriving sort of like as a, I just flew in here and boy, are my arms tired sort of thing. So it is funny, but I don't think we really talked about that face that he makes. Next we have Noz Lee on YouTube, who says this episode was hot. I hope you continue future podcast. I'll visit for it. And yes, we will be continuing this for the foreseeable future unless we all just give up on the series and decide not to do it.
Yeah, and if Frontier didn't get you, I think we're safe.
Yeah. And yeah, that's basically it for the comments on our last episode, unless I'm missing a few, but that's basically it.
Episode 9 was
Fair
good,
enough.
though. And then this followed it up,
Episode
which was a real shame.
Yeah, episode 9 was really good. Like, this was sort of like a weird sort of... I really enjoyed... Like, where did I put episode 9 again? Okay, I mean, I put it in the middle, but I really did like it. Like, I don't know why I put it in the middle. I think on our... I may as well read out our overall ranking, which I will read out the entire episode list. Episode 6, The Targeted Kingdom. Episode 1, Tokyo Digital Crisis. Episode 9, The Ultimate Invasion. Episode 2, War Game. Episode 7, That Man Joe Kado. Episode 8, The Children's Siege. Episode 5, The Holy Digimon. Episode 4, Bergemon Soars. Episode 3, Into the Digital World. And then in last is Episode 10, The Super Evolution of Steel. So that's our overall ranking so far. See, Episode 9 was really fairly solid. Episode 1, I feel like we all like, and Episode 6 is just...
It's just really
It's just
good.
so good, and yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we get more good episodes, and that if episode 10 is the worst episode in the season,
I can live with that.
this season is good.
Yeah.
This season will probably be better than Atmon if episode 10 is the worst.
God, I hope so.
But however, I don't think that'll be the worst. I think we can go lower, considering Taichi is the main character, and the worst episode for the majority of us.
I think if our
is
stats
this
have shown us
episode.
anything, it's that we needed Colin to be starring Mimi and maybe Sora.
Yeah,
God, give Mimi a pair of goggles.
she should.
Oh my god.
Like, I remember I did a Photoshop of Masaru and Yoshino from Savers.
Ha, nice.
And there's a line where Yoshino's like, "Oh, I'll be the leader. Who made you leader anyway?" To Masaru, and I edited on some goggles from Taichi
Nice.
because they've got more or less the same hair color, and it kind of really worked pretty well. So
Here
yeah,
for it.
I want to see the same with Mimi, where she's just wearing goggles because she should be.
She really should be.
I want a season where all the main character, all the chosen are goggle kids, and they constantly fight over who's the main character.
I want Hikari, when she finally shows up, to just straight up steal the goggles.
Yeah, she should have had them in 02. It makes no sense for Taichi to give the goggles to someone he just met.
Yep. We're not
Yeah.
talking about that, though.
No.
Not today.
Alright, so thank you for listening, and you can join us next week for episode 11, which has a fairly obvious title, The Wolf Standing Atop the Desert, or as I like to say, the dessert, which is what I have written, or I had written until this morning in my segment guide, so yay, I love dessert. Do we have any predictions about this episode? More than what we've already said, I mean.
Well, to go split into threes, and I think we should all just say for the record what we think the threes will be. So I've already said, I think Yamato, Mimi, and Joe, and the other one will be Koshiro, Tai, and Sora. What are your two guesses?
I think we're going to have Sora and Yamato in one team at the very least. The third one, I think they're probably going to put maybe I'm gonna say Taichi. I'm gonna say Taichi, Sora, and Yamato. Even though I don't want that, I kind of want them to split the main character just a little bit. Or maybe maybe it would be better if we had Yamato and Taichi together, because at least half the time that means that we won't have Yamato and Taichi. So yeah, okay. So back to that. Yes, Taichi, Yamato, and Sora in one team, which we will focus on in the next episode, and then the other team has Joe, Mimi, and Koshiro.
As much as I wish that I thought that would be the case, instead my prediction is Taichi, Koshiro, and Mimi in one team, and then Yamato, Joe, and Sora in the other.
Yeah, I can see that.
Kind of like the original series duos, but then Tai and Matt split us
Yeah.
up as well.
Yeah, we just need a third wheel in each place, and if we split them up, then they're less annoying than if they're together.
We'll see if any of
other
us are right.
predictions? Yeah. No, that was a good way to finalize that. I know we sort of more or less guessed at who we thought, but it's good to add that to the predictions. Anything else?
I don't think the Ogremon evolution will feel earned either.
I think it will feel
definitely
more
think it
earned,
won't.
but only because we've already seen his crest activate like a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, he's only been in like, what, 4 episodes overall?
Yeah, 4.
Maybe
hope
5.
that they expand on his crest being the feeling of friendship that he observes, not just the feelings of friendship that he feels.
I don't know that we're gonna care that much about crests in general.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
unless...
it's kind of like they glow, and they glow more when they are stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't appear to have a particular meaning related to their personalities anymore, which is a shame.
No.
Unless ties mean stubbornness now.
That...
Or persistence. Persistence is more of a compliment.
That's why I said stubbornness, because it
Yeah.
wasn't good this episode.
No. Anything else?
No.
Nope.
I think it's nap time for me.
Ooh! Walking in the desert.
Yep.
It's gonna be really boring again.
We are getting
I
some
don't
walking in the desert next week.
Oh, no, I forgot that that's a standard trope of every Digimon season ever is we have to walk in the desert and complain about it being hot.
Oh, damn. Well, maybe Mimi is going to be over on Yamato's team, because,
Oh.
it's not Digimon if Mimi doesn't complain about walking in the desert.
Well, then that means we might have some Mimi-Sora friendship, which is always really
Yeah,
nice.
we could get some gals being pals.
Yeah, and maybe calling Yamato out about something, I don't know. And the friendship he sees is the friendship between Mimi and Sora, which is... I like that. I like when we focus on the friendships of the characters, because so far we've not really done that much.
I would love this show dearly if it could pass the Bechdel test.
Yeah, and I hope it will.
I doubt that will happen.
It's unlikely. I'm not sure any of Digimon can.
No, I think we went through this... I can't remember if it
Maybe
was on the
we did,
Moncast
yeah.
or... It was Juri and Ruki when they were learning how to play cards.
That's fair. God.
And that's about it. Like, even Atmon doesn't really... Oh, no. Eri with her mother.
Okay, briefly.
Because they talk about being an idol. But there aren't that many girls in Atmon.
No.
But I feel like that... It doesn't really need to have that many girl characters. I feel like Eri carries it perfectly on her own.
Eri and I would have been cute to give an episode together.
Yeah, like, I still...
And have some gals being
I don't want
pals.
an Atmon 2, but if I did, I want them to sort of have the extra characters that I was surprised weren't main characters. Like Watson and I feel like we saw their designs
They're
and then
so good.
that never went anywhere.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope, I refer back to nap time.
Okay, I will wrap this up so you can nap this up.
Hell yeah.
Get it?
Let's nap this up.
Alright, let's nap this up. The link dump's in the description, and our Redbubble's also linked in the description. You can contact us and stay updated. Email us at LostinTranslationmon@gmail.com, or you can comment on this episode, or message us on our website, or YouTube, or wherever you're listening to this episode if you can. You can follow us on at Translationmon on Twitter, and you can find us on Lost in Translation on Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We have a discussion thread on With the Will, and a Red thread in the Digimon subreddit. We'd also appreciate any reviews that you can give about the podcast on any podcast listening service that you use. You can also donate to our Patreon, which is linked in the description. One day I want to get through this outro without flubbing it. So we have a Patreon, linked in the description, from as little as $1 a month. That gets you access to our listener Discord server, but there are higher levels, more rewards, as notes, early episodes, and more. And thank you to our supporters on Patreon, Joe, Anime Guy, who's Anime Guy Kurosaki 1 on YouTube, Stephen Reeves, Wild64 on Archive Our Own, Kadawashi, Chisai, who you can follow on Tumblr, Chisai236, Kyle, Tom, Lismet, who is a Lekmon on Tumblr, Nicholas, Metal Maimon, Sam, Spiral, Keith from a computer podcast on the internet, Silverhead Freak 25, Magnus, and Lucas. You can also make one donation on our PayPal, which you found in the description. It's paypal.me/Ogremon, and you can also donate to me on my coffee account, ko-fi.com/Airdra. And of course, thank you to Quinn and Stevie for joining me.
Not a problem.
You're welcome.
Come.
And thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!